What's happening, Expeditioners? It's Peter here, founder of Expedition Money, and I want to talk to you today about saving those precious memories that can't be replaced. And I want to start with a little story. When I started first shooting video and doing YouTube and recording home videos and all of those things, I thought, well, man, they are accumulating. They're taking up too much space on my computer. So I bought an external hard drive and I put everything on there. And at the time I did this, external hard drives were a little bit different. They were called a platter system because they had a spinning disk in them. Now a lot of these are SSDs, so they're solid state type of drives, so they don't have moving parts. But mine did, and unfortunately, because of the way this hard drive was, a big old school hard drive, it not only had a cord that goes into the computer, but it also had another power cable that went to an outlet. And one day I was getting up out of my chair from my desk and my foot caught the power cable and it pulled the hard drive off of my desk, just off the desk, off the edge, onto the floor. Thud, there it went. And guess what? It wouldn't power up again. So I took it to a local computer repair place. And they said, there's nothing they can do about it. What they would recommend is sending it to like a data forensics place. So I actually sent it out, I think somewhere to Arizona. And they took a look at it and said, nope, nothing on it can be recovered. Basically, the platter got scratched and it's unrecoverable. I assume this is something like taking a drill and drilling through a hard drive. And the devastating part of it to me was not only did I lose a lot of original files, I mean lots of original files, but I also lost tons of home movies, which unfortunately, probably like when someone has a house fire and loses a bunch of old photos in the fire, man, those old videos were of people that are no longer with us and times that I wish I could remember. And in fact, I had a video on there where my mother was sitting around with her siblings. Some of them are now gone, and they were just having a great time sitting around the kitchen table, talking about old memories, talking about their parents, talking about their old aunts and uncles. And I just put a camera up and recorded them for a couple of hours, and I thought that would be so much fun to go back and watch, and unfortunately all gone. Now, you might have some of your own memories, and what I'm trying to say here is whether they are work files, right? Maybe it's a project you're working on, a book that you're writing, blog posts that you don't want to lose, photos, videos. Having a backup on these things is incredibly important. And there are different ways to do this. And there's probably no way to be perfectly safe on it. But I do want to share with you one of my suggestions here, which has served me well. And that is a backup service called Backblaze. Now, I have a MacBook. I have a couple of Macs. And they back up to a Time Capsule, a physical hard drive that I have that's now solid state, which is good. But if my house burns down, I lose the computer and the backup. And so I wanted an external backup too, and that's why I subscribed to Backblaze. Now, I have about 10 things here that make Backblaze really useful. Obviously, the number one thing here is that it allows me to do file recovery. If we're going to back up my computer, I can go back and recover different files, which is super great. Now, depending on what your internet speed is, it may not back up very quickly, and especially if you're backing up videos, those can be done usually overnight or over a few days. But it is super helpful, and it is super comforting to know that I can go back and grab some of those files if I need to. And the second one here is that Backblaze was one of the few services that would do unlimited backup. I can't tell you how important that is when you're doing video files, because especially the videos that we're recording now are in 4K. Even a short video is a big file. I definitely have video files that are 5, 6, 7 gigabytes. So that's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for me to have a 20-minute video file in 4K, 60 FPS. Those require a lot of space no matter what kind of compression you're using on them. So unlimited backup is super nice. Even photos can be pretty big in size. But if you have just a lot of little files, then maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe you're just creating a lot of Word documents. So that may not be super helpful to you, but as far as I know, all of the levels of service from Backblaze are unlimited, which is great. The second thing is continuous backups. If I create a file, theoretically, the Backblaze app will back that file up right away, which is really nice. So I don't have to worry about working on something all day, losing power, not having that file. It should have the latest saved version for me. So the continuous backup is nice. As I mentioned, if it's a big file, it may not be on the Backblaze servers right away, but it should be there given enough time. The fourth one is easy setup and use. And I will tell you, this is pretty easy. You just download their little client app. On my computer, it just runs in the background. You can actually set it up to just back up your hard drive, or if you have external hard drives like I do, you can actually select those too. And that's why the unlimited backup is so nice, because I have a lot of things that it's backing up. The other thing it does is file versioning. Now, if you are familiar with looking at file versioning in Microsoft Word or Google Docs or any of those types of services, even Apple Time Capsule, then you understand that it may back up a version, it may back up the changed version. And so what you can do usually is go back a version or two. If maybe you are working on something and you accidentally deleted something and you didn't realize it, right now you can go back to yesterday's version and get that back. So it's nice that they do the file versioning as well. Just keep in mind that eventually they delete some of those oldest versions. So if you don't need them, they start slowly disappearing in the background. The fifth one is affordability. So they offer, I think, really competitive pricing. When I was actually looking at this one versus maybe 2 or 3 of the other big backup services, Backblaze was just as affordable and yet had the unlimited backup, had the versioning, and had the continuous backup. A lot of the other ones had a pricing tier that was similar, but maybe didn't have the unlimited backup. So for me to get that unlimited backup essentially for free compared to some of the other ones was a huge advantage. The sixth one here is compatibility. Now, I am not working on PCs anymore. I am really exclusively working on Macs, but they do work on Macs or PCs. And especially if you're working in a mixed environment, maybe you have to use a PC for work, maybe you're using a Mac for home or whatever, you can definitely run their client application on either platform and it works seamlessly. So I really love that. And number 9, which I just want to reiterate here, is the external drive backup. I mentioned that, but because I have maybe 4 or 5 additional hard drives plugged in. So I have one for work videos, one for home videos. I have another hard drive dedicated for Time Capsule. I have another hard drive for older files that I don't usually use that often. I have the internal hard drive on the computer that I use all the time. And what's really nice is you can select or deselect any of those that you want. So you can absolutely back up external drives, which is totally awesome. So for me, Backblaze is the one that I have used for years. Knock on wood, I haven't actually had to go to it too often, but it gives me a lot of peace of mind knowing that not only do I have the files on a hard drive right there, but if something were to happen, a fire, a flood, just damage, clumsiness by the user sometimes, that even if I destroy my local files, I still have a cloud backup that I can go to, especially on some of this content, the videos, the photos that you just can't replace. If you want to have a little bit more peace of mind, not break the bank, get all of these features, and know that your data is safe, I would highly recommend Backblaze. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to sign up for your own account. But hopefully that helps you secure your information and sleep a little better at night. I'll see you later.